On the news tonight, troops neutralize over 150 terrorists in the north within 2 weeks. CBN bows to pressure, raises weekly withdrawal limits to 500,000 naira for individuals and 5 million naira for firms. And 20.5 trillion naira 2023 budget suffers setback as Senate postpones passage. Well, many thanks for joining us to News Now. I am Folashade Ogurinde. At least 150 terrorists have been neutralized by troops of the Nigerian military in various operations across the northern region of the country. The Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Musa Danma Dame, disclosed this during the bi-weekly briefing at the Defense Headquarters in Abuja. He said about 100 terrorists, including logistics suppliers, collaborators and spies of the Boko Haram and Islamic State in West Africa province, ISWAP, have also been arrested. He added that from December 1st, 2022 to date, over 423 Boko Haram and ISWAP members have also surrendered in troops in various operations, whilst scores of abducted civilians have been rescued from camps of the terrorists.
Troops ambushed Boko Haram and Islamic State of West African province terrorists at a crossing point and neutralized one commander identified as Abu Umi and 4 other terrorists. Troops recovered one AK-47 rifle with magazine loaded with 15 rounds of 7.62mm special and 6 motorcycles. Cumulatively, within the week in focus, troops recovered 20 AK-47 rifles, 2 G3 rifles, 5 FN rifles, 2 QJC guns, 1 gun truck, 2,411 rounds of 7.62mm special, 26 AK-47 magazine, 4 bandoliers, 4 36 hand grenades, 1 42 hand grenade, 1 RPG tube, 1 high explosive anti-tank bomb, 1 high explosive armor piercing bomb, 1 mortar tube, 2 mortar tripod stand, and a 60mm mortar bomb. Other items recovered include 33 motorcycles, 33 bicycles, medical supplies, 50 pieces of male and female fabric, bags of grain, jerrycans of groundnut oil, cartons of detergents, and the sum of 291,060 naira only, among other sundry items.
The governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, Godwin Emefiele, has finally bowed to pressure to revise the bank's cash withdrawal limits policy. In an earlier circular issued on December 6, the CBN had said that with effect from January 9, 2023, the maximum over-the-counter cash withdrawal limit by individuals and corporate organizations per week would be 100,000 and 500,000 naira respectively. However, in a circular on Thursday by the CBN's Director of Banking Supervision, Haruna Mustafa, the CBN said it had reviewed upwards the maximum weekly limit for cash withdrawal across all channels by individuals and corporate organizations to 500,000 naira and 5 million naira respectively. The CBN attributed the development to the feedback it got from stakeholders and also said it recognized the vital role that cash plays in supporting underserved and rural communities and will ensure an inclusive approach as it implements the transition for a more cashless society. Well, to speak more on this, Oye Akinshilira, who is a financial expert, joins me now. Thank you very much for your time. When the CBN announced the policy, it said it was in the interests of Nigerians and the country, but the Apex Bank bowed to pressure and reviewed the policy. Is this enough to elicit some form of concern?
Definitely. The only thing here is that like central bank arrived at their destination before taking off. What am I trying to say here? The best for the economy is what they actually announced. 20,000 naira every day, 100 per week. But the problem here is that we're coming from somewhere. If we just move suddenly, that sharp, is going to affect so many Nigerians. Let's be realistic. Most Nigerians are poor people. What would you expect of people operating the POS? They make some little commission from that. If we just go to 20,000 naira per day, 100,000 naira per week, the level of transaction will fall abysmally, and it's going to cut them off. Also, the timing of this change needs to be considered. Whether we like it or not, the interest of our political class was not duly considered at this time. We are about having our election. Election involves spending money. That is naked truth. Provision needs to be made for that period. If after this period had gone, we've had our election, we could start adjusting gradually. And over time, something about years, we get to 20,000 naira per day, 100,000 naira per week. That would be normal. That is where we should be going. We want to really work on the economy. But to just move
agree
sharply,
that the CBN did not carry out enough consultation and basically made a hasty decision with regards to the cash withdrawal limits now?
It's too hasty. If they had announced from the onset 500,000 naira, I don't think the outcry would have been that much. It would have been reasonable. And like I said, over time, they start reducing gradually. That should be better off than for us to just get to 100,000 naira per week, 20,000 naira per day. It's not possible. It's not appropriate. That is the only challenge we want.
Well, Oye Akinshilire, financial expert, thank you very much for your time and your contribution. Well, still on financial matters, the proposed passage of the 2023 budget suffered a setback on Thursday as both chambers of the National Assembly failed to consider the report of its committees on appropriation due to irregularities on the part of the executive. The Senate also suspended the consideration of the Finance Bill 2023 and the 2022 supplementary budgets to enable its committees conclude work on the legislation. President of the Senate, Hama Lawan, would disclose these developments at the start of plenary, further explained that the budget that was sent to the National Assembly was riddled with so many errors which hindered the passage.
The reason for this is because the appropriation bill came to the National Assembly with some problems. And when our committees on appropriation in the Senate and House started to reconcile the figures of what we have done and what was presented, the problems became very obvious and they were not easy to deal with. And therefore, our committees had to start a process of cleaning up the bill first. The bills that have come to us, the Ways and Means, the supplementary appropriation, the finance bill, whoever is invited to come and explain, give information, or any details for the National Assembly to understand must do so, because it's not our work alone.
The acting chairman of the Police Service Commission, PSC, Justice Clara Bata Ogumbi, says police officers found guilty of committing an offense while on duty will be duly punished. Ogumbi made the statement while presenting the Commission's 2021 annual report and proposed 2023 budget to President Muhammadu Buhari at the Presidential Villa in Abuja. Commended the President for his support so far, Ogumbi said the Commission's movement to its corporate headquarters will be a milestone thanks to the Buhari-led administration.
The Commission has been consistent in ensuring that disciplinary sanctions are meted out to erring police officers, making sure officers are promoted as at when due, taking into consideration available vacancies and seniority, ensuring that proper and fit persons are recruited into the Nigerian police force. It is on record, sir, that you have shown great commitment in releasing funds for this project. Thereby, most of the outstanding work highlighted in the 2020 annual report, pages 63 and 64, as pending have been completed and ready for commissioning, with little finishings left. Therefore, let me use this medium to appeal to your office to graciously grant us a date for the commissioning ceremony, and this will enable the Nigerian public to be informed of your achievement in this regard.
Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has inaugurated the first phase of the Lagos Rail Mass Transit Blue Line from Marina to Mile 2 at the National Theatre Blue Line Station in Ingomu area of the state. The event, attended by dignitaries including state officials, marks the conclusion of the first phase of the Blue Line project, the city's first light rail system and the largest infrastructure undertaken by the state government. Our correspondent Mary Kanu has the details in this report.
The iconic National Theatre station played host to dignitaries from Nigeria and China, as well as state officials who are here to attend the completion ceremony of the infrastructure for the first phase of the Blue Line, a 27-kilometer rail system expected to ease transportation for Lagos residents. The governor's arrival marks the opening of the event. After over 4 decades, the Lagos Metro line has become a reality, and Lagos state officials speak on what this infrastructure means to the state.
I wish to place on record that the construction of the Blue Line has been one of the most challenging projects in Lagos State the Lagos State government has ever embarked upon, given the many issues we've had to overcome. To get to this point, we have had disturbances and delays in the relocation of submarine cables, submarine gas pipelines, and removal of underwater shipwreckages as we completed the sea crossing. But as a state, we never give up.
This is being carried out with a mission to reducing pollution associated with public transportation, improve the health condition of the people, as well as enhance private sector partnership in regulated public transport.
The state governor assured that the Blue Line infrastructural project would be fully completed by the end of 2023 and promised to deliver the Red Line by May 2023.
This is for you. It's about you, it's about your family, it's about your children, it's about your sustenance, your livelihood. It's about ensuring that what we promise as a government to make life a lot better for you, this is what it is. For you to be able to commune from one part of the city to another part of the city seamlessly in a safe and secure environment. Those are the commitments we give you. That is what we want to assure you, that for every day we wake up, we will continue to understand and appreciate that the oath that we took is to serve you with everything we have.
The last phase of the event is a ride to Marina, as the governor opens the track and goes on a ride along with excited Nigerians who commended the governor for a first-of-its-kind project in Nigeria.
Yes, we're excited. You can imagine the relief Lagosians will have from right now from Mile 2 to Marina. No more air condition, it's wonderful. Lagosians are going to enjoy this, I'm telling you. This is a landmark achievement.
We took off from the National Stadium. This trip goes to Marina. Marina is an intermodal station where you can verge from the train, disembark, you can join a boat, you can also join a bus from Marina. So it's a station where you have connectivity of all modes of transportation.
The Blue Line, a 27-kilometer rail system, is one of the 6 rail lines and monorail prescribed for Lagos in the state's Strategic Transport Master Plan. This Lagos Rail Mass Transit project, commissioned by the Sanwo-Olu administration, at its completion is expected to commute about 500,000 passengers daily, amounting to 3.5 million passengers weekly and over 15 million passengers monthly, all in a bid to ease transportation for Lagos residents. Mary Kanu, TV360, Lagos.
Well, we'll take a break here, but still to come, elderly COVID-19 patients fill hospital wards in China's major cities as cases worsen. Details of this story and more right after this break.
The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has fixed Monday, 12th December 2022 to Sunday, 22nd January 2023 as the dates for the collection of PVCs nationwide from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. daily, including Saturdays and Sundays. All registrants who are yet to collect their PVCs or requested for transfer of registration, as well as those who applied for replacement of lost or damaged PVCs, can now visit INEC local government offices where they intend to vote to collect their PVCs. Collection of PVCs will be further extended to ward level for those who are unable to collect theirs at local government offices from Friday 6th to Sunday 15th January 2023. Thereafter, the exercise will be reverted to the local government offices of the INEC until Sunday 22nd January 2023. Remember, only those with PVC can vote on election day. Collect your PVC now to vote. It is your duty. This message is brought to you by the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC), making your votes count, consolidating our democracy.
Welcome back. Now here is a recap of some of our top stories tonight. At least 150 terrorists have been neutralized by troops of the Nigerian military in various operations across the northern region of the country. The Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Musa Danmadani, would disclose this during the bi-weekly briefing at the Defense Headquarters in Abuja. Said about 100 terrorists, including logistics suppliers, collaborators and spies of the Boko Haram and the Islamic State West Africa Province ISWAP, have also been arrested. We also told you that the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, Godwin Emefiele, has finally bowed to pressure to revise the bank's cash withdrawal limits policy. In a circular on Thursday by the CBN's Director of Banking Supervision, Haruna Mustafa, the CBN said it had reviewed upwards the maximum weekly limit for cash withdrawal across all channels by individuals and corporate organizations to 500,000 naira and 5 million naira respectively. But in case you miss any of our news bulletin, for more updates, do log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria. On Facebook, we are TV360 Online. Elderly patients lined the wards of hospitals in major cities in China on Thursday as the country battles a wave of COVID-19 cases. The virus is surging across China in an outbreak authorities say is impossible to track after the end of mandatory mass testing. Millions of elderly people across China are still not fully vaccinated, raising concerns that the virus may kill the most vulnerable citizens in huge numbers. Under new government guidelines, however, many of those deaths would not be blamed on COVID-19. Well, India has begun randomly testing international passengers arriving at its airports for COVID-19, citing an increase in cases in neighboring China. Health authorities in the state also urged state governments to increase surveillance for any new coronavirus variants and send samples of all positive cases to genome sequencing laboratories. The public have also been asked to wear face coverings and maintain social distancing, even though there are no official mandates for either. I will take a break now and return with more stories and business. To stay with us. Well, welcome back. Up next is business news and stock market review with Simisola Adigun. Over to you, Simi.
Thank you, Folashade. Welcome to business news. The House of Representatives has resolved to investigate the activities of illegal financial technology companies and mobile application lenders who threaten debtors for failing to repay loans. At the plenary on Thursday, the House mandated its Committee on Banking and Currency, Financial Crimes and Telecommunications to investigate the alleged sharp practices and abuses by fintech and online mobile digital loan apps and companies in Nigeria and report within 4 weeks. The resolution was based on the unanimous adoption of a motion of urgent public importance moved by a member of the House, Ahmed Satomi, who decried the proliferation of online loan apps across Nigeria. The lawmaker added that the COVID-19 pandemic affected many economies, including Nigeria, as jobs were lost and incomes were affected due to the lockdowns, restrictions on movements, and face-to-face interactions. The federal government, through the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, has announced the 2022 mini bid round to spur new oil exploration and drilling activities in the prospective deep waters offshore in Nigeria. The chief executive of the commission, Benga Komalafe, said this was the first in a series of bid rounds aimed at further development of the country's prospective petroleum basin. He also announced that 3 modular refineries would refine crude oil in 2023, as this would boost in-country refining capacity, according to the Nigerian Content Development Monitoring Board. We'll go on a short break here and be back with stock market reports. Stay with us. Well, it's another positive close for the Nigerian Exchange Group. The market increased further by 0.05% on Thursday. The benchmark all-share index also inched up to close at 49,499 basis points, while market cap stands at 26.9 trillion naira. The top gainers, Julius Berger Nigeria PLC and Champion, raised the market's gains with a combined 42 naira. Now, Thursday's trading shows that a total of 132 million volume of shares valued at over 3 billion naira were exchanged in 2,999 deals. Now, the story is different for our select global stocks, as the UK's FTSE gave up the gains as Britain's economy contracted more than expected in the third quarter. It's a similar tale for the US Dow Jones, which plunged as December's sell-off resumed after a rally in the previous session that failed to hold ground. Now, the Japanese Nikkei, on another hand, had a good trading day, closing higher at 0.46%, as gains in the retail, transport, and communication sectors led shares higher. Now, that's the stock market report. Back to you, Folashade.
Many thanks, Simi Salah. And on the foreign scene, Japan has approved a blood test kit to diagnose Alzheimer's disease, a rare advancement in tackling a condition that affects tens of millions worldwide. According to the manufacturer, the test kit uses a small amount of the patient's blood to measure amyloid beta accumulation in the brain, allowing for earlier diagnosis and treatment. Existing methods of diagnosing Alzheimer's disease are expensive and medically intrusive, often involving a brain scan or spinal tap. But in sports, Nigeria's Super Eagles have ended the year as Africa's 5th best team after a disappointing 2022 that saw them fail to make the World Cup. In the November 2022 FIFA ranking released on Thursday, the three-time African champions are now 35th in the global pecking order, while Morocco are the #1 team in Africa and 11th in the world. Senegal, Tunisia and Cameroon ranks 19th, 30th and 33rd respectively. Nigeria began the year placing 3rd on the continent and 32nd on the world stage, but a string of poor results saw the West Africans' fortunes plummet. And that's the size of a news bulletin. Many thanks for watching. I am Fola Shade Ogorinde. Bye for now.